So lads, I mean this when I say this. I want all the Stephanie White apologists to come out. Because it's very, very clear that Stephanie White is not the right coach for Caitlyn Clark. I don't mean this when I say this. I don't think Stephanie White's a bad coach. In fact, I think Stephanie White's a really good coach. The fact that she was able to pull off a Commissioner's Cup win with the roster that they had, she is a great coach. We are not going to slander Stephanie White's ability to coach right here, but we are going to question Stephanie White's ability to specifically coach Caitlyn Clark.
Caitlyn Clark just dropped a bombshell admission, and it confirms what millions of fans have been fearing. Her own coach is telling her to stop shooting even when she's on fire. In her own words, Clark revealed that her killer instinct to launch a third straight three-pointer is something that isn't advised by her head coach. This isn't just a rumor anymore. It's a shocking look inside a quiet war being waged between a generational superstar and the very person meant to unleash her. This isn't just bad coaching, it's a strategy that's sabotaging the most exciting player in basketball, and we're about to show you exactly how it's happening.
Well, the cat is out the bag, man. Now, I told y'all, I was one of the first people to let it be known. Head coach Stephanie White is so against Caitlyn Clark. It's clear as day, and it's very much clear as day that this front office dropped the ball in hiring her to be Caitlyn Clark coach. I'm telling you right now, Stephanie White do not want Caitlyn Clark to shoot the ball. It's clear as day. She want to run this motion offense, and quite frankly, Caitlyn either need to get the hell out of Indy, or the front office need to make it their business to hire a new coach, man.
The whispers of this conflict became a roar thanks to Caitlyn Clark's own words. In a revealing interview, she gave a rare look behind the curtain of the Indiana Fever's internal dynamics. She talked about the feeling of being a shooter, how confidence builds when a couple of shots go in, and then she dropped the bombshell. Clark admitted that after hitting 2 shots in a row, she is probably going to launch a third that maybe isn't advised by Steph is White, but I gotta get it up. It was a stunningly candid confession. The unwritten rule in basketball is that shooters shoot, especially when they're hot. But what happens when the one person who is supposed to be empowering that instinct is the one telling you to hold back? This single comment exposed a crack in the foundation of the team's strategy.
Let's take a listen to this. This is, by the way, during the New York Liberty game. This is during the New York Liberty game. During the Liberty game. Let's take a listen. Or, well, sorry, not during, about the Liberty game. This is the game where Caitlyn Clark hit 5 threes in the first half. This is the game where Caitlyn was on like an all-time heater, and then randomly she just stopped shooting. Like, that is the thing. That is the thing that happened. She randomly just stopped shooting while she was on an all-time heater. She was on an all-time heater and she just randomly stopped shooting.
That crack became a chasm during a now infamous game against the New York Liberty. In the first half, Clark was a human inferno. She was completely unstoppable, scoring with an ease that looked effortless. She dropped an incredible 25 points before halftime, including 6 three-pointers that demoralized the defense. At one point, she hit 3 of those threes in a jaw-dropping 38-second span. It was the kind of electrifying performance that defines her legacy. But then, the second half began, and something shifted dramatically. It wasn't that she went cold, it was that her shot attempts seemed to disappear from the game plan. After launching 9 threes in the explosive first half, she attempted very few in the second. Fans and analysts were left completely bewildered. The most dominant offensive force on the court was suddenly relegated to a secondary role, and no one could understand why a team would voluntarily put out its own fire.
So I had a film breakdown prepared today, but I'm actually going to go a different direction. This is a rant because we have to talk about the state of this Indiana Fever team, and I'm here to bring the reality to all you Fever fans. This team is not a championship team. They're not a championship team. They're nowhere near close to a championship team because every team that is a championship team can play defense. This Indiana Fever team has no defense, and that's like the farthest of their problems. Their offense looked really bad today, and Caitlyn Clark obviously didn't shoot the basketball well, but I'm not going to blame this loss on Caitlyn Clark, even though obviously they would have won if she would have shot the ball well. My whole thing is you were up when Caitlyn Clark wasn't shooting the ball well. You had a double-digit lead in that first half while Caitlyn Clark was clanking every single three. She was 2 for 9.
To comprehend this puzzle, you have to look at the two people at its center. In one corner, you have Stephanie White, a coach whose identity is built on defensive grit, discipline, and highly structured offensive systems. Her approach historically emphasizes ball movement, team-first principles, and running plays designed to create good looks for everyone. In the other corner, you have Caitlyn Clark, a player player who is a system unto herself. She is a generational offensive weapon whose greatest gift is her audacious range, her creative instinct, and her unique ability to break the rules of conventional offense. The clash is obvious. White's philosophy is about building a well-oiled machine with interchangeable parts, while Clark is a high-performance engine that requires the entire machine to be built around her.
Caitlyn Clark, man. Now, Caitlyn Clark went on Sue Bird podcast and dropped major gems, bro. She let it be known that Stephanie White do not want her to shoot threes. Yes, this is not clickbait. Oh, my goodness, guys. Check this out.
So professionally, like that Liberty game, I feel like as a shooter, like when you see like 2 or 3 go in, especially like for me, like if I have 2 back to back in a row, like I'm probably gonna launch a third that maybe isn't advised by Steph, but like I gotta get it up. And then if the third goes in, like you're just hot. I think as a shooter, like your confidence just builds and builds and builds. It's just coming off your hand better.
This brings us to the fundamental and perhaps fatal flaw in the Fever's approach, prioritizing the system over the superstar. Legendary coaches don't try to force a generational talent into a box. They build the box around them. Asking Caitlyn Clark to be more of a pass-first off-ball player is like telling Picasso he can only paint by numbers. It fundamentally misunderstands what makes her a genius. Watching her being used as a decoy, running around setting screens for others instead of orchestrating the offense is maddening for anyone who understands her game. The offense often becomes slow, hesitant, and predictable, the exact opposite of the exciting, high-paced show that brought fans to the arena. The Fever drafted a rocket launcher but seemed determined to use it as a hammer.
Make a decision. Y'all want to keep making all this damn money off me, or do y'all can make money off her being a coach? Pick one. Pick one. What are we doing here? This was trash. We got popped. We got smoked by the Valkyries. Smoked. We down 20 at home. We down a dub at home. This front office is a joke. I don't know how they even let Timmy Fagbenle walk away. We didn't protect her. Bro, this front office is a joke. This coach is even more of a joke. A pure clown is what this coach is.
The continued use of this strategy has led fans to ask a deeply uncomfortable question. Is this intentional? Is it a misguided attempt to develop her into a more conventional point guard, stripping away her instincts in the name of growth? Or more cynically, is it a battle of wills, an attempt by the coach to assert that the system is more important than the individual star? Whatever the motivation, the result is a coaching style that feels like it's actively working against its own best interests. Viewers see Clark ready and willing to take over a game, being held back by a playbook that seems designed to neutralize her greatest strengths. Each game where she's limited is another wasted opportunity, another night where the promise of a supernova is dimmed to a flicker.
Why not? Stephanie White, why not? It always works. 2 defenders are always going to go with Caitlyn Clark. There should never be a play where Caitlyn Clark brings the ball up the court and then she passes it and she runs off the playoff ball. Every single possession, there should be a screen, whether it be a Leah Boston, whether it be a Kelsey Mitchell who's going to cut, whether it be a Natasha Howard, literally any player. They set Caitlyn Clark a screen at the top of the key, and off that, your whole offense should function. I don't care what Stephanie White wants to do with this motion offense thing. Literally, all you have to do every single time you have a practice is worry about what to do after the double team.
This philosophical conflict isn't just theoretical, it manifests in ugly ways on the court. You can see it in the disjointed possessions where Clark, after hitting a spectacular 3, doesn't touch the ball on the next play. Instead, she's sent to the corner or used to set a screen, effectively taking the team's most dangerous weapon out of the equation. This doesn't just handcuff Clark, it creates confusion and hesitation throughout the entire offense. Her own teammates, like all-star Aaliyah Boston, have noted how much better the floor is spaced and how much easier the offense flows when Clark is empowered to be aggressive. When your star player is operating with one hand tied behind her back, a culture of tentativeness infects the whole team. They begin playing not to make mistakes instead of playing to dominate.
Saying this late last year in November when the Indiana Fever hired Stephanie White. I never thought I'd be saying this right now, only 19 games into the 2025 season, that it's time for Stephanie White to go. The Indiana Fever needs to fire Stephanie White. This is not going to work. What we're seeing is not going to work. It's just not going to work.
This simmering issue has boiled over into a full-blown fan revolt because the stakes are so high. The Indiana Fever didn't just draft a basketball player, they drafted a cultural movement. They drafted millions of new fans, sold out arenas across the country, and an unprecedented level of media attention. Yet the one person who seems unwilling to fully embrace the phenomenon is the coach. Fans feel more than just disappointed. They feel like the very thing they came to see is being intentionally hidden from them. The long-range bombs, the dazzling passes, the thrilling unpredictability, it all feels like it's being systematically coached out of her game, and the frustration is palpable.
Hi, I'm Stephanie White, head coach of the Indiana Fever and Caitlyn Clark, and I'm a complete clown. I'm a clown. That is what I am as a head coach. I am a clown. I am ruining Caitlyn Clark. I have no idea what I'm doing as a coach. I have no idea what I'm doing. I've been sent here on a mission to ruin Caitlyn Clark and the Indiana Fever. And I think I'm doing a masterful job because I suck. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I actually have no idea how I got this job in the first place. I don't know how I got this job in the first place. I am a clown.
What makes this situation so baffling is that the blueprint for success has already been written by some of the greatest coaches in history, and the Fever seem to be ignoring it completely. When Phil Jackson coached Michael Jordan, he didn't tell him to score less. He built the triangle offense around Jordan's gravity, using his scoring threat to create opportunities for everyone else. When Mike D'Antoni coached Steve Nash, he didn't ask him to slow down. He unleashed the 7 seconds or less offense that changed the league. Great coaching isn't about forcing every player into the same mold. It's about recognizing unique, game-breaking talent and building a world where it can flourish. The Fever are doing the opposite, trying to shrink their superstar to fit a system rather than expanding the system to fit their superstar.
So Caitlyn Clark and Indiana Fever fans are having a meltdown about they god Stephanie White that they wanted so bad, man. So I've been seeing the takes, man. So now they want Caitlyn Clark to demand a trade, or they want the front office to pick between Caitlyn Clark and Stephanie White, man. I'm not gonna say I tried to tell y'all, man, but it's just like I was trying to tell y'all, man, like Stephanie White is not this god that y'all was making her out to be, man. You know, Christy, like I'm not even here to...
Let's be clear, this isn't just about wins and losses. This is about business, and the coaching decisions are a potential financial disaster. Caitlyn Clark is an economic engine. She is the reason for record-breaking television ratings, sold-out arenas in every city she visits, and an explosion in merchandise sales that the league has never seen before. That entire economic boom is built on one thing: the excitement she generates. It's the deep threes, the flashy highlights, and the feeling that something incredible could happen at any moment. By coaching that excitement out of her game, by turning her into a safer, more predictable player, the team is actively devaluing its most valuable asset. It's like buying a Super Bowl ad and using it to display a legal disclaimer. It makes absolutely no sense.
Stephanie White yesterday reduced Caitlyn Clark to a role player. She turned a star into a role player like we've never seen before. While Tyler Marsh is trying to turn Angel Reese into a star, Stephanie White is trying to turn Caitlyn Clark into a role player. Let that sink in.
Something has to give. This public and philosophical conflict is unsustainable, and it's pushing the Indiana Fever toward an inevitable crossroads. The nightmare scenario for the franchise is no longer a losing season. It's their generational superstar becoming so frustrated that she decides she wants out. That would be a catastrophic failure from which the organization might never recover. The front office is now facing a franchise-altering choice, and it's not about a single game plan anymore. It's Clark versus White. They have to decide who they are building their future around. Do you back the coach and her rigid system, or do you back the player who brought a revolution to your doorstep?
Well, you gotta get the hell up out of here, bro. Pack your shit. Pack your shit, bro. No, I'm not even playing that game, bro. No, I'm not doing that. Pack your bags right now. Stephanie White gotta go. You gotta go. You are a clown of a coach, a pure clown of a coach, bro. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? You got the best point guard in the world, and you have her playing small forward. You got her playing small forward, bro. What are we talking about here? This is like Mike D'Antoni having this 7 seconds or less Phoenix Suns and saying, hey, Steve Nash, go stand in a corner. We want Quentin Richardson to bring the ball up. Man, get out of here, man. This is trash.
In the end, this is a conflict of identity. It is a battle between unleashing raw brilliance and demanding rigid conformity. History rarely remembers the intricacies of a system. It remembers the transcendent players who redefined what was possible. Trying to force Caitlyn Clark into a mold she was never meant to fit is not just a flawed strategy, it's a tragic waste of a gift. The solution seems painfully simple. Let her be herself. Let her shoot. Let her create. Let her lead. Until that happens, every game will feel like a masterpiece locked in a vault, a cautionary tale of a revolution that was put on hold. And the biggest question of all remains, how long can a team afford to keep its own brilliance on a leash?